Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hi, Lauren. This is Lauren, and she's from the Naperville Humane Society.
Yep.
And I wanted to say that for all of you that have been waiting, here we are with our new home studio in Las Cruces, and this is where Kelly Barker and myself, we're broadcasting live. You can see this is the background of our beautiful new home, and we're just so excited to be able to be broadcasting live with state-of-the-art equipment and just a beautiful, beautiful area. Gaetan's going to be coming here in a couple of weeks, and he's going to be able to see what the beautiful area is. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Las Cruces, but it is gorgeous. So today's show is, first we want to welcome Lauren.
Wait.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to welcome you back.
Oh, thank you, Gaetan.
We were missing you for what, 6 weeks?
Yeah,
At least 7 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Kathy.
Okay. Well, today we're going to be talking about the COVID update in shelters, rescues, and fosters. And first, I wanted to identify, some people don't know what the difference is between a shelter and a foster. I mean, a shelter and a rescue. A shelter location is usually supported by the local government, by your taxes, and not for profit, of course. And the building is usually owned by the government. With a rescue, which is where Lauren is coming from, that's generally 100% running by donations only. So that's the difference. And they usually work together, but in some cases they don't work together. There seems to be like a competition between shelters and rescues over who's going to get the animals, but we would love to see them all working together. Today we're going to be talking about the fosters in each of these areas, especially because of COVID, have become so important to the shelters and the rescue, because fosters are the ones that are leading the adoptions, because some of them are adopting directly from their homes. So, okay, I guess we got a comment here. Who's here? Okay. Good morning, Dale. Nice to see you. Thanks for being on. As a matter of fact, Dale's the one that brought me here from Arizona to Las Cruces, and he got to meet the tribe. We've got 5 dogs and 2 cats, and we'll be introducing you to them shortly. So anyway, all right, let's start with you, Lauren. Gaetan, take the show.
Okay. Hi, Lauren. How are you doing?
Good.
Excellent. So,
Whoops, wait, hold on, that's Kelly. Kelly's going to be passing through here.
okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, last time we spoke was around February. Okay.
Wait a second, Kelly, we can hear you. We can hear you, Kelly.
That's the joy of live streaming.
Yeah, right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so last time we spoke was last winter, and then we got this COVID-19 shelter, like everybody at home. What happened on your side in regard with your normal activity and then adoption program?
Well, good question. Definitely, like everyone has been dealing with, it's been a lot of change very quickly. So initially, we weren't exactly sure what to do. We tried to put as many of our animals in fosters as possible, and did slow our intake for a little while there, just to limit the number of animals in the shelter, since we weren't able to have volunteers in the shelter. We were relying entirely on staff to care for the animals. So eventually we were able to open things to adoptions by appointment only, and we've continued that practice, but been able to have, more adoptions in a shorter period of time, while still spacing them out a little bit. So that way we expect who's coming in the shelter. Our volunteer program did reopen as well, but that's also fairly limited. we had to cancel a lot of our events. And as Kathy mentioned, that's a way that we fundraise since we rely entirely on donations. And I run our children's programs, which we also had to cancel, unfortunately, but we were able to resume a socially distant, somewhat limited summer camp. So things eventually started picking up again, but definitely, like I mentioned, lots of change like everyone's been dealing with.
In terms of adoption, what was the dynamic? Is that stop, increase, decrease? What was the dynamic in terms of on your side for foster, for instance?
Definitely we've seen an increase in both fostering and adoption. So as I mentioned, we tried to get as many animals into foster as possible, and we're still relying pretty heavily on our fosters. I think we have about 19 animals, mostly kittens, in foster homes at the moment. And they will be, coming back to the shelter at some point to get adopted, or depending on the situation, we have a dog that's actually getting adopted out of a foster home today. So she was up for adoption while she was in our foster home. So sometimes we have different situations depending on what the animal needs, but we definitely wanted to utilize our fosters as much as possible so that when things started to reopen and we were able to have more appointments, that we could really get as many animals homes as possible.
If somebody wants to foster, what will be the procedure to take it with your organization?
Yeah, good question. So we do have a small, short application for fosters to fill out, mostly with demographic information and just letting us know a little bit about their household and their lifestyle. We like to help prepare our fosters for what to expect and really make sure that they're getting animals that they'll be able to care for. So if someone's only able to provide for kittens or cats, that's definitely something that we'll work with. So we want to help prepare them. We'll send them home with food and medicine, whatever they might need. So we really want to help provide our fosters with everything that they need to make these animals as comfortable as possible, since they're helping open up space for more animals to.
Okay. You break up a little bit.
Yeah, breaking up.
So
yeah.
just go back to a foster process. What? Let's say I call your office and say, "I'm Gaetan. Yay!
Hi, Gaetan.
And
Welcome.
I want to adopt. I want to foster. What should I expect besides signing a form saying, okay, I'm homebound. I'm with my wife, no children, one apartment, 2-bedroom." And I'm a nice person. So what will be the next on your side? What will be happening to me if I present myself as a candidate for fostering?
So we definitely would want to ask you some more questions. Like I said, kind of get to know the person and what they're able to provide for the animals. So if someone is home a lot, they might be able to care for newborn kittens and a mom that would need a lot of, time and effort. Sometimes they need round the clock feeding and lots of different medication and things like that. So we want to make sure that people understand all that's involved for the animals that they want to foster.
Okay.
And then, like I said, we would probably have them come in and send them home with that supplies. We're always here for questions. So we like to kind of train and prepare them and then, get them started.
That's what I was going to ask. Now, you do train the fosters, because the reason I'm asking that is in this area here, since I've gotten here, we found that it's incredible what the fosters are doing, because of the fact the shelter here has stopped taking in any new dogs from animal control. So they're only dealing with the dogs that they have. And so what's happening is the fosters are starting to intervene and take the dogs that are stranded or abandoned or hurt, and they're bringing them to their homes as a foster, not associated with the shelter, but with rescues. So my question is, how can possibly we can start to think about maybe making fosters the first, the main reason that a dog is coming into a shelter, so that it can be pulled and go to a foster. Are you finding that you're giving your fosters more and more leniency and giving them more rights to be able to adopt directly? Can you do that from where you're at? Can you adopt directly from a foster?
Yes, definitely. Not directly from a foster, but we will usually set up an appointment if, you know, the animal is in that foster home, like an older dog, for example, whereas kittens we would probably send back to the shelter. But dogs, definitely, we will have, you know, potential adopters go and meet the foster family, since they really have spent the most time with the animal. Recently, they know what's best and how to explain things, although we'll have a staff member there to help facilitate, you know, the adoption and any meet and greet. But we want that foster family involved. And obviously, foster fails isn't discouraged. We encourage it. So if the foster family themselves really wants to adopt that animal, that's definitely something we allow and encourage.
So if go ahead, Kathy.
I was going to say, and we hear quite a bit that what a foster doesn't like is that once you become a foster mom or a foster dad or a foster child, the shelter or the rescue just cut you off and you never hear from them again. And we're saying, wait a minute, the fosters are the ones that are finding out the personalities of the pets, and they're finding out all the nuances, and they should be the ones that should be mostly connected to the rescue and shelter. So the tracking of where they're at, it's almost like they get lost somewhere. Nobody even knows that they're over in the fosters. And the fosters are going, hey, we need help, we need food, we need medical supplies, we need this, we need that. And nobody wants to hear them. Do you have a tracking system for your fosters?
Yeah, that's, you know, too bad that a lot of people are in that situation. We have a few, two different staff members. Our director of animal care oversees some of the fostering, as well as our behavior and training manager, Joanne. She also is fairly involved in the fosters, and she tracks all of them. As they apply, she keeps track of what animals that they have, and that also goes into our main database with all of the animals that are here or ready for adoption. So we like to know where everyone is. We do keep in touch with them, and we'll check up with them, you know, every couple of weeks. And as I mentioned, we always encourage questions from fosters, adopters, any member of the public. We believe, you know, we want to provide that support so that we can help those animals stay in good situations.
Okay, so then the next question is, what we would like to start doing is the future of virtual adoptions. Many are doing it right now, and they're doing it very successfully. How would you feel about us getting involved with your fosters and having them be on the show to show their dogs, and an adoption can be made directly from the show?
I mean, it could be definitely interesting. I'm sure some of our fosters might be interested. We can reach out and see if they'd like to come on the show. However, we personally are somewhat new in terms of the virtual adoption trend going on. And, you know, we think that there is some potential there, but we also are firm believers that you really need to see people interact in person with an animal.
Right.
You know, getting to know people, you know, in person, in real life. There's something that really can't be captured over, you know, video. So it's great for initial impressions and interactions. And we are thinking about utilizing that going forward. But we definitely encourage people to always go and meet the animal, because that's how you're really gonna figure things out for both ways, the human and the animal.
And since I'm in Naperville, I can definitively provide the support there to help out with this. If you go, you have the intent to go with the virtual introduction, quote unquote.
Right. Well, if you can imagine, right now the fosters are the heroes because they're coming forward, and a lot of shelters have been emptied because of coronavirus. And what's happened now is these people that have gotten them, they're finding that they're depending upon these dogs, and the dogs are loving it because they have their owners home 24/7 with them. So the fosters have been playing such a valid part. We're looking at it in the future that the fosters are going to be playing such a key role, because let's go back a second. You know yourself, Lauren, that when you see a dog and let's say they have a fight with another dog, right away it gets notified and they get labeled with doesn't get along with other dogs. It may have just been a specific thing, like something over territory, over a bone, over food, over something. So they were aggressive that one time, but generally they were together and okay with dogs. So that dog's chances of getting adopted are lessened so much more because they don't have the ability to say, hey, wait a minute, I get along with other dogs. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. A dog can't tell you that, but a foster can. They can say, hey, wait a minute, I introduced Johnny to my neighbor's dog and he was great with them. And I have cats in the house and this was great and great with kids. So they get a much better chance of adoption through fosters. So our thinking is that if we do these virtual, let's say Zoom or even up to 10 on what the platform we're using now, showing the fosters where they have their dogs, they can talk about them, and then people can contact them, then schedule a meeting for the meet and greet.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that would be a really, really very good thing. So do you see the value of the foster as being kind of like a leading force for the shelter and rescue in the future?
Oh, definitely. As you mentioned, obviously our staff and volunteers do our best to care for the animals, but it's still a stressful environment to some extent. It's not realistic in terms of, how they'll actually be in a home. Whereas when an animal is in a foster home, that's much more indicative of what their behavior is actually like when they have the chance to really settle in somewhere and feel secure. So like you said, that can really be beneficial for the animal, and our fosters just do a lot to help the shelter. It opens up more space and allows us to save more animals. So it's definitely, like you said, a driving force for most shelters and rescues.
Right.
A little bit about fostering, a little bit more. Let's say I've been selected as a foster parent, and then I have a little boy, a little dog coming in, and then let's say the dog don't feel well, and I notice that he refused to eat, refused to drink, he's agitated. What will be? I'm maybe presenting the worst case scenario, but what will be the situation there? Am I on my own? I have to call my friend Darian and say, "Hey, David, I have this dog. I don't know what's going on." So what will be the connection between your organization, me as a foster dad, and the situation with the dog there?
Yeah, very good question. So whenever one of our foster animals is feeling sick, obviously fosters are let know ahead of time of certain vets that we work with in the area, where they could go in case of an emergency. Like if they really think, the animal's life is in immediate danger, obviously we want them to get there as soon as possible. But we also expect for them to communicate with us what's going on. And we do like to know ahead of time if it's something like you mentioned, more like where the animal is lethargic and maybe not eating. We're not really sure what's going on. It needs to be taken care of right away, but we would, like to be notified ahead of time if possible. But if it's something, immediate danger, we're giving our fosters information when they're taking animals home of where they could potentially go in those situations.
Okay, last question on my side. I'm a newfie. I've never been involved with adoption or dogs. How long is the foster time? Do I have the dog for 6 months or 3
Whatever.
months?
Like Kathy said, it really depends.
Whatever.
Okay, Kathy, how long? Whatever.
It's whatever.
Okay.
If when the dog comes to you, I can tell you, being a foster mom and also being a foster failure, what will happen is if you really like this dog and you're really promoting it, you're going to take videos of it, you're going to take pictures, you're going to post it, you're going to say, perfect. And then all of a sudden somebody's going to send you a notice saying, I really want to adopt that dog. And you're going to think, ooh, I don't know if I could give him up. I
Uh-oh.
really like this. And then you become Charlie is a foster failure.
Okay.
My Charlie is a foster
That's
failure.
what you call a failure.
That's a failure because
You're
you end up adopting it.
okay.
But it's a
Yeah.
good thing. A good
That's
thing.
a good thing.
Yeah,
You
it's
scare me for a moment.
It's a good failure. Yeah.
I know you for a long time, but not as a failure.
Yeah, well, when a dog is and a cat too, but this is the Dog Connection show, so we're referring to dogs.
Yeah.
When you want to foster, it is a possibility that you can go in and you can decide which dog you want to foster. You don't just automatically be given a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, people want to take the small, cute, fluffy ones. And what we try and say is, no, take the one that nobody wants to adopt. Take the older one, the one that has been there for a year and has now lost all connection with socializing with other dogs and other people other than to have their run cleaned or to be fed or to be taken for a walk. They don't have that loving communication that they wanted before. So I would be in favor of taking an older dog. Charlie was an older dog, and he was a hellion, and he wasn't adoptable, but I took him anyway, and now he's a good little boy. So what happens is when you bring a foster into your home, first off, a commitment has to be made. Just like you would adopt a child, you have to take care of them physically, emotionally. In all regards, you clean them. They get poop on them. You've got to clean that up. And if you go, oh God, I can't do that, then don't foster a dog because it's part of the deal.
Yes,
Definitely.
It's part of the deal. And then when you get to a point where, let's say now all of a sudden you've had the dog for you might only have the dog a week and the dog is not working out in your home. The beauty of fostering as opposed to adopting is you can say, this foster is not working with me. I'd like to get another foster. Usually it's the environment. It's always the human. It's not the dog that has the issue. So it may be somebody else in the family. So then you can always bring another one in. It could be 6 months, but during that time, if a foster is well trained and they are very determined, they will do everything imaginable to try and get that dog adopted from their home rather than bringing the dog back to the shelter. It's devastating to bring a dog back to a shelter once it's been in a foster. So usually fosters will try and transfer from foster to foster if need be, so that they can switch around. But I really have always felt that foster-driven adoptions are so much better, especially in an area where a shelter is a kill shelter. They'll get the dogs and the cats out of the shelter before they're euthanized. And that's what a foster will do if it's an organized foster group. And I see the future of this happening where all these fosters are saying, we play a significant role and we're ready to unite, be more uniformed, be more disciplined, and have some procedures in place and not just helter-skelter. Yeah. So that's what we're looking forward to, and we're hoping that we can work with you, Lauren, with your organization to give a boost to the fosters.
I know
that'd be great.
I know, Lauren, you have you're short on time. One thing happened to your organization, and I drove by and I saw what's going on. Can you tell us what's happening to your organization?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you for asking. So we have started construction. So not only are we looking to expand the foster program, but we're looking to expand the shelter. And we started construction. We're expanding it outward in 2 different directions so that we can expand the number of animals that we house. So I think there will be about 8 to 10 more dog kennels. So space for at least 8 to 10 more dogs. Several new cat rooms, so a kitten nursery, cat rooms where they can walk around, free roam, which we already have, but definitely we need more space for more cats, and also a couple of caged areas for cats if need be, like if they are dealing with something health-wise and haven't found their foster family yet or get adopted. Let's see, we also will have a multi-purpose room, which will be able to hold training classes and educational classes, different things for the public to come in and interact with and learn about our animals. Let's see, what else? there's a lot going on. We're very excited.
That's very good. Thank you for your time. For our audience, it's called Naperville Humane Society. Is that correct?
Naperville area, but definitely we also go by Naperville Humane Society.
Naperville Area Humane Society.
Long name.
It's okay. Check it out. Check their website. They have a lot of things there going on. If you want to give a donation, you're welcome. And they are doing an excellent work. My first visit there, for your information, Kathy, and our audience, I arrived in the parking lot and it was a large banner saying 35,000 lives saved. And that's the work they are doing. That's why I'm so interested to work with the Naperville Area Humane Society.
Right, yeah.
Lauren, thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for the Humane and Naperville Area Humane Society works. And keep up the good work, and I'm sure we'll be in touch shortly.
Yes, and thank you very much.
So much.
And we look forward to working with you and your fosters in helping them be organized and doing some virtual adoptions. I think it'll be great.
And stay healthy, be well. See you soon.
Okay,
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Well, Gaetan.
Yes, Kathy.
I have to tell you, being here in Las Cruces, I'm so excited about the wonderful things that we're going to be getting done here. Of course, you know that Kelly is, she's got Bark House, which is a not-for-profit organization. So we're doing a lot of incredible, fun, wonderful things. Wait, I got to see here. What did you say? Oh, thanks. Oh, Lauren just said thanks, guys, in the private chat. I thought that was Gaetan talking to me. But in the area here, I had mentioned that the shelter is not bringing in any new dogs. So the question is, so what happens to them? Unless they are injured or they're in danger, the animal control will come and pick them up. So I think that it's rather curious that Kelly's foster network said, you know what? We're going to roll up our sleeves and we're just going to take the animals in directly, not direct from the shelter, taking them directly off the street into their homes because the shelter isn't able to do that. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking that it makes so much more sense for us to support a foster and helping them to adopt from their homes so that more and more fosters, more and more people will want to foster.
Yeah.
And I commend you, Gaetan, for wanting to know what is the procedure for a foster. Some have them, some don't. Some shelters have them very loosey-goosey. You want to bring a dog home with you, go ahead, you're on your own. We'll see you next year, or we'll see you later.
Right.
Others are very tight fit. They want to know exactly what's happening with the foster, and the shelter still controls the foster. Then there are independent foster networks, which is kind of sort of what we really have here. They're under Bark House as a rescue, but people can go ahead and they can have a foster, but that foster is generally one that goes into a home where people know how to foster. What happens if you don't know how to foster? That's the thing. Right. So another key role that we have as the Dog Connection is we have the ability to do training because we certainly can help these fosters get training, right?
Right, absolutely. Roman is not with us today. We have to explain that. Unfortunately, he's kind of under the weather because of the smoke inhalation where he is.
He's in Oregon. Yeah.
He's in Oregon. So you're aware of the tragic situation with the uncontrolled forest fire there, and the smoke spread over hundreds and hundreds of miles. There's even smoke effect in Chicago in the Midwest from the fire on the West Coast.
Right.
So that's why Roman is not with us today. He's with us from a distance. He just sent us a message saying educated fosters are the key to successful no-kill sheltering.
They are.
Yes.
We're on the same page with that. And again, I think that the more and more we get involved, meaning the dog connection,
Hmm.
in educating the fosters, I think we'll get more and more people that want to foster.
Yeah.
Because here's how it looks. I say, okay, I'm going to foster a dog. And you think, oh gosh, what kind of a commitment do I have to make? They just, oh, we'll just take the dog in. Well, that's a big commitment.
Hmm.
So you have to know what you're doing, and you really should be able to go through some kind of an educational class of what does it
And
mean to
sport and
foster.
training, and yep. And
Exactly.
the other point to that is if you adopt from a foster, you have reference, you have life experience with the dog. If I
Right.
adopt from Kathy because she fostered a dog, and I like very much Charlie, and I want to adopt Charlie, and she will say yes, okay, you can adopt Charlie. I doubt about it, but just for the conversation, uh,
Right. Yeah.
she can tell me her experience with the dog for the time she was with the dog. And so I have somebody who has a practical experience with the dog, which is more than just a chart with aggressive check mark, not getting along check mark, all of that. So foster is probably the best reference you can get, I think,
Right.
if you
Right.
want to adopt.
Well, I just got an email from I think it's the ASPCA, where they're starting a foster program where they're allowing the fosters to adopt direct
Hmm.
from their home. Generally speaking, a shelter doesn't allow that because they want to keep control of the dog, follow the dog wherever the dog goes.
Right.
And they want to have the adoption paper. Obviously, there's a fee involved usually, which includes the spay and neuter and their shots
Hmm.
of the animal that's being adopted. But now they're leaning more towards letting the fosters do that. The only way a foster is going to be able to do that is if they are a level above, like maybe a supervisor or an ambassador, or one that is thoroughly trained, that is able to train
Hmm.
other fosters.
Right.
And they're in a position where they know exactly what's going on, and they're connected at the hip with the shelter, or they have their own independent rescue.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are being done, but I love the fact that we're leaning towards having fosters take these animals out of the shelter. I would love to see a dog go into a shelter, and then the fosters get notified, here's a dog, and one of the fosters goes and takes the dog out before they're no more than 72 hours.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good scenario. Fantastic. I'm very happy for what the work of Lauren and her group is doing, because they are bridging the need between foster adoption, and they don't dump you a dog and say, bye, don't call me, we'll call you.
That's right. Again, that's what some people are saying, that they're having difficulty because they feel that they're being abandoned.
Hmm.
I fostered this dog and I want to call somebody. Nobody knows the answer.
Yeah, or nobody answer, period.
Nobody answers, right? And it's just like out of sight, out of mind. Now that
Hmm.
dog is out of here, I'll never have to worry about it again. Wrong,
Right.
wrong. They're still part of the what's the word I want to the what do I want to say here, Gaetan? Help me. Okay, I wanted to show you guys one thing here that they're
Before we
saying.
go, yeah.
Yeah, that studies are showing that people want support from their pets during
Hmm.
COVID times.
Yeah.
And this is very true, because what's happening, I'll put the link in here so that you guys can see this. What's happening is everybody that's been home alone with their pets, they're finding that they're talking to them more, they're spending more time, they're doing things
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
They it almost becomes like the dogs have now become more family,
Yeah.
which is a great thing.
And there's a change in the society also because of the COVID-19. Some company, if I think it's Google, asked most of their employee who were asked to work from home to stay home and work from there.
Right.
And so you have somebody working from home. I did work from home for many, many years, and it's not the paradise you think it is. Yes, it's 15 feet between your bedroom and your office, but it's kind of walking in a jail.
Oh, I'm so with you on that. You got to be so disciplined.
Yes,
You
and
have
this is
to
the
have
most
that.
difficult part. Self-disciplined, self-motivated.
Yeah,
And this is okay, it's worked for the first 2 or 3 years. But at some point, you need to have something moving around you, something giving you another dimension than having your face in your laptop or computer screen
right.
and working from home for hours and hours and hours and hours. I have a friend who worked from home also. At 5 o'clock, he punch out and he's out the door. Boom.
Yeah,
He's fed up.
right.
He woke up in the
Yeah,
morning, took a shower, breakfast, walk into the studio. His office is like across from his bedroom,
yeah,
so it's like 5 steps. Okay,
right.
he stayed there until 5 because this is the policy of the company. He has to be there between 8 a.m. and 5. He can punch a half an hour lunch and 2 break of 15 minutes, but he have to notify the company that he's out for a break for 15 minutes or out for a lunch for 30 minutes. And at 5 o'clock, the only thing he wants, let me out of here. Let me
Right.
go out.
Yeah.
So with a living being in your house, that can be a companion and a moral support for what you're doing too.
Exactly. See, this segues right into it. And you didn't even know I was going to show this, Gaetan, but this is, it says here, as much as humans might hate the COVID-19 pandemic, an alternate viewpoint may be gaining ground among other family members living in the same house. Consider the outlook of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is saying, you mean our benefactors don't have to leave us every day to go to work? Great. And they have more time to give
Yeah.
us attention. And this might even be the best ever for canine companionships. More dogs are finding homes, fewer are left at shelters. The dog economy is booming, especially for a product that sums up a whole story, Doggie Diapers. This is
Wow.
the sales increased by $24 million over the 24 weeks between August 15, up 202% because of dogs that now the parents are home to see what happens with their dogs. And they realize, oh, I got to get a doggy diaper. Might be older, incontinent, didn't know where it was coming from. So this company, which I thought was kind of funny, it's called the doggy diaper in Pennsylvania, called the Pea Keeper. There it is, Pea Keeper. They said they've never been busier than ever. So pandemic pooches is what they're calling some of these
Mm-hmm.
people. People are spending a phenomenal amount of money
Yeah.
on their pets because they're home now. They realize,
Mm-hmm.
look at all the wonderful things that the pet has been doing for me.
Yep.
And I'm so excited that, oh, I better get him a bone. He needs a new chewy. She
Yeah.
needs this, she needs that. So I think COVID, we're trying to look at the good side of what COVID has brought to
Yeah.
humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is empathy, more connection with your pets,
Yeah.
and recognizing what they're doing for us.
Yeah. The COVID-19 started with the shelter,
Mhm.
in-house shelter. They were talking about 30 days. We're more than 6 months down the road, and it's create a shift in our society.
Mhm.
Change habit, food habit change, work habit all change, family habit all change. For family with children, let's say a typical family, 2 adults, 2 children, being in the same house 8 days a week,
Yeah.
it's new. It's something never
Right.
never
Yeah.
happened before.
Yeah.
So we have to adapt and we have to adjust. And even if the economy is taking a new momentum, some aspect of the economy doesn't mean we go back to work like we used to do. Some company, as I mentioned, I think Google and Facebook and YouTube, I don't know if it's all of them, but some of them ask their employee to stay home and keep working from home, because everything they're doing is on the computer, doing it on a computer in a big
Mhm.
building, which require commute,
Right.
using gas and things like that. can be done remotely. And tech support, customer service are done now from residence of individual. You call a number, and then they switch the number to the residence of that person, and you have a tech service. I was calling a store in Chicago, which is in suburb of Chicago, which is very, very well known. And I call the customer service.
Seems like you're cutting out.
You're cutting out too. You're like all mushy on your side. Anyway, it's a change of time, a change of era.
It looks like you're cutting out.
You too.
I lost you.
It's on your side, Kathy, because you're all pixelated. Okay, no more. Kathy, are you there? I lost Kathy. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, we're losing you, Gaetan. Okay, everyone. This is okay. Are you back?
I'm back, but
we lost you for a second there.
On my side, I have like an eye band. On your side, it's all pixelated. I barely see your face right now.
Really, and I see you clear, and I see me clear.
You're okay.
Huh. Well,
I think we can wrap it up. Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, we're done with the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kathy, for being back.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Whoops. It's alive.